election has spelled big change for our country, obviously, and for several cities here in the Bay Area. We've already talked about how San Francisco is getting a new mayor who wants to send the city in a new direction. And now it looks like the Board of Supervisors has been transformed as well. Dean Preston, a Democratic socialist, has served on the board since 2019. He represents District 5, which includes parts of downtown, the Haight and Hayes Valley. He's been a champion of progressive policies and has fought for tenants' rights and racial equality. But over the weekend, he conceded the race in what some might describe as a big upset. Our Kelsi Thorud talked with a man who will be taking his place, a tech entrepreneur, about what could be a new era with moderates making their voices heard in city politics.
The results are in, and newcomer Bilal Mahmood has beat out incumbent Dean Preston for San Francisco's District 5 supervisor seat. While some in the city may be surprised by that result, Bilal says he is anything but.
I've been underestimated in my career, from the private sector to from when I run for office, but we kept our heads down, we did the work, and we talked to voters.
We met Bilal here at Shalimar, a restaurant in the Tenderloin he's been coming to since he was a kid.
I still think it's the best in the city, but you can't beat their chicken.
Over a plate of chicken and rice, Bilal shared with us his thoughts on why his campaign was so successful.
For too long in San Francisco, there's been a focus on ideology rather than compromise, on kind of textbook definitions of how to address housing and safety. But we formed a coalition of campaign that included people from progressives and moderates.
Bilal is one of the candidates who's benefited this election from what many see as San Franciscans moving away from more liberal candidates and policies towards more moderate ones. Sachin Agarwal is the co-founder of Grow SF, a group that has worked for years to try and oust Dean Preston and who endorsed Bilal. Sachin says Bilal's win shows the city wants change and wants new leadership to enact that change.
You know, what we're seeing in San Francisco is a return to common sense, right? Like the things that we are trying to fight for in this city, like public safety and good public schools, these are just the basics. And what we had in City Hall for so long were people who were not prioritizing the needs of everyday residents.
Bilal told me he's ready to work with his fellow supervisors and Mayor-elect Daniel Lurie to tackle those needs. He told us he supports Lurie's promise to declare a fentanyl state of emergency on day one. He also plans to work with Lurie to tackle the city's housing issues.
I think we approach things in a similar manner. We both recognize that a lot of the issues in San Francisco have been bureaucracy. And unfortunately, bureaucracy often leads to corruption. And so we're both aligned on the way to solve our housing crisis is to cut the red tape.
Bilal says he's optimistic voters will see real change when this new leadership takes over. He says he's honored to be a part of it, especially as the board's first Muslim and South Asian supervisor.
In a statement posted to Instagram over the weekend, Preston touted some of his accomplishments, writing in part, quote, "We banned evictions, paid back rents, taxed the mega rich for social housing, barred SFPD's use of killer robots, pioneered the use of hotels for homeless people, passed groundbreaking rights for renters," among other things. He also went on to thank voters for electing him and said he would soon announce his plans for the future.